This is the assignment for today, the 12th of October, especially for those of you who are quarantining at home or somewhere else. It's a letter. It's the next episode. Scintilla writes to Flaccus, which is all that says here. Scintilla writes to Flaccus. There's vocabulary here, a vocabulary link, and you can open that. I would recommend opening that in a separate window, which you can do by, there's usually an option when you click on the link here, it will say open link in new window. And so if you do that, then everything's fine. Okay. All right. So I've broken down the sentences into subject, verb, and object order. So all you have to do is translate them in that order. So Flaccus is the nominative, accepit is the verb, epistolam is the accusative. And if you look at the vocabulary here, accepit should mean received, right here. Received, hard to do, but accepit. So F received an epistolam, which if you look here is a letter. A letter. So that's all I want you to do. Like that. Tomorrow there'll probably be a similar exercise where you put the subject, verb, and object in the appropriate boxes. But so this is sort of practice for that. So the next one, celeritur signum fregit. There is no subject, so the subject is same as before, Flaccus. Okay, fregit is the verb. Celeritur is just an adverb, just means swiftly. And signum is the thing that holds the letter together. Okay, number 3, scintilla omnia scripserat. So the change of subject, scintilla is the subject now. This is the narrative before we get to the letter that they'll copy in verbatim. Scripserat with this ending doesn't mean wrote, but had written. And what she had written is omnia. So omne means just a single thing, that's everything, but omnia is a number of things, like, so everything, you could say. Quae Venusia facta erat, quae Venusiae facta erant. So with a word, sentences begins with a QU word like that. That always has to come first because it's a clause starter. Same as WH words in English are, like who, what, where, when, like that. So translate that first. This refers to omnia, omnia quae, and then what had been done, facta erant. It's best to think of this as a single verb form, although it's really a verb to be plus an object or a predicate, facta. Okay. So translate those here. Number 5, ex quo, understand tempore. So you can just, that's why I translated here, since, ex quo, since. Okay. Abierant, again with the same kind of ending that you see here. And the they that's implied here is Quintus and Flaccus, but you can just say they. And Romam is their destination. 6, Flaccus, verb vocavit. See how it's always at the end, or most often at the end of the sentence. And whom he called is quintum. Because he ends in an M, you can see that it's the object. So he vocavit, just simple past tense. Quintus. Statim is just an adverb meaning immediately. 7, que, although it's the second thing second part of this word has to be translated first in English because it means and. Okay, and then epistolam, you can see, even though it's first in the sentence, has to come after the verb because it ends in an M. And what was done to the letter is recitavit, which looks just pretty much like our word, like the noun of which is recitation. So, but the verb. 8, scintilla viro filio carissimis salutem plurimam dat. Just the salutation part of a Roman letter. Scintilla is the subject, dat is the verb, and what she dots gives is salutam plurimam, a big, big greeting, and the indirect object to whom she gives the greeting, viro, meaning Flaccus, filio que carissimis, and her filio, that is Quintus, and they are both referred to in the plural as carissimis, very, very dear. Number 9, primum is just a clause starter, just means first of all. Ego horatiaque valemus, so this is a two-part subject, really, two-part subject, so there's part 1 and part 2. We would have to invert the order, so we'd have to translate horatia here and ego here, valemus. So since she's speaking in the first person, she doesn't say he and they, she says I and we. So, okay. So mus is the plural of I, and vale means to be well, to be healthy. Et, just a clause starter joining 9 and 10. Res bene agimus, again with mus, so we, age, res, a very generic sort of word, things, and bene, well. Then a sentence 11 and 12 is really one line, but has 2 sentences involved in it. First part, juvenis nos juvat, is translated down here. I'm interested in 11 in the relative clause, qui horatiam amat. So because QU, qui, starts with QU, you have to translate that first. Who or that, either one will do. Amat, singular because it ends in T, not NT. Amats, and whom he amats is Horatia. And then the enclosing clause, the main clause, juvenis, this is the subject. So he's not a puer, he's not a vir, but he's just still in the in-between stages of manhood. A juvenis, nos juvat. We have to invert that in English to juvat. Comes first, helps, and next knows us. 13, the subject is understood the juvenis. So just he, este, so you would translate this, he is a filius of Terentii, so that's his father's name, Terentius in the nominative. And then he's described further as veteris tui amici, of your old friend. Oves curat, so these are the various things that the juvenis does. So you would just say he here if you said anything. Curat, cura means care. The noun cura means care, concern. And what he is curating are the oves, the fleecy, woolly quadrupeds that graze on grass. Almenes jam tetondit. So he, again, is the subject. Tetondit has shorn. It's your big chance to say the past tense of, you could also say sheared if you want. The older past tense is shorn. He has shorn almenes, meaning the oves. Okay, oves. All the oves. Plurimam lanam habemus, so back to we, subject we, habemus lanam, and then how much lanam? Lanam is what you get when you shear a sheep. They say we have plurimam, so not just multum, a lot, but more than a lot. Segetes maturai sunt, a simple subject linking verb predicate verb. So the noun is segetes, the crops. Sunt are maturai, which is practically the English word. Sed sikitas fuit magna. But so you would, in English, we would tend to say there was, rather than do it in this order. But you can do, you can say drought. There was a big one. There was a big drought. 18, ex quo, same as before, ex quo tempore, since, abi istis. So she said before, abi erant, since they had gone away. So now she says, since istis, you have gone ab away to Romam, comma, raro pluit, it rains infrequently. Itaque segetes non bonai sunt, and this word again, the crops, non sunt, so the negative of sunt are, and what they are not is bonai, not good. Venetum tamen floret. Venetum is the subject, the vineyard, and floret is from the noun floris, flower. So you can make a noun, a verb out of the English word flower, and also the Latin word can also be a verb. Plurimaus uvas habebimus. So again, the subject is we, habebimus, we shall, habemus. So habe, you've had before, that stem. And what we will have is plurimaus uvas. Okay, because the vinetum is flourishing, we will habemus uvas, the result of a flowering vineyard, are uvas, plurimas, not just a few, but a whole bunch of. Contentai sumus, so again, we, sumus is the plural of sum, I am, so sumus, we are. Contentai, just what it looks like. Feminine ending because the subject, let's imagine here, is Horatia and Scintilla, both feminine. Adjectives have to agree with the subject, even when the subject is not expressed like there, like here. So here it's just we, but that's feminine plural. Desideramus, same again. We desire vos, or we miss vos. So the opposite of vos is nos, in the same way that the opposite of te is me in the singular. So this is the singular of those two. This is the plural. Vos, nos. Nos means us. Me means me. Te means you. Vos means the plural of you. Okay. Argus tristis est, a simple is sentence. Argus, the name of the dog. Est is, so it's singular, just T. And then Argus is not Argus, but Tristis. He is sad. Quintum semper quaerit. So there's the he here in quaerit, because it ends in T, he, is Argus the dog. Quaerit, in the present tense, is quaeriting, and whom he's quaeriting is Quintum, his boy, so to speak. So a two-part sentence, number 25. Et vos carissimis iter longum conficistis. So directly addressing these two. So stis ending, you have confecated. Your iter, that is the trip, which is longum. In columes advenistis Romam, question mark. So not you have arrived, but you have you. And in columus, you could just translate here, for this exercise, just translate it here. It's perfectly okay. Quintus ne, so beginning of a question. Ne is just the question word. Quintus is the subject. Verb is studet. And that's really all there is to that sentence. Quintus is studeting jam now in ludo birlii, in the school of Orbi. Domicilium in Venistis, again with you plural, back to you plural. Have you in veni a domicilium? You can just say a domicile. In veni, in veni means find, and this is the past tense of find. Non dum epistolam capimus, so just an adverbial time word, not yet. Acapimus is the past tense of accipimus. That would be we receive. So this is the past tense of accipimus, acapimus. Epistolam, an epistle, a letter. Cinemora scribite longam epistolam. Scribite is the command form of write in the plural. An epistolam, same word as we had here, longam, but it's not a short one. The opposite of longam would be brevem, short. Ete narrata nobis omnia, and she continues with the plural command forms like scribite, narrate, omnia, tell, omnia, to us. Quae acciderunt, quae I would translate here, you could say that, or you could say which. Technically, it's better that in this case. The subject is quae, that, and acciderunt, has happened. Okay. And now the valedictory part, cura, take care, mi carissimi vir. You wondered why he was said that and not curate, because he's addressing just her husband. Mi carissima vir. Ut valeas, to be well. Et quintum filium nostrum carissimum diligenter cura. So a second time with cura, look after this guy, with this long set of adjectives describing him, diligenter, without a let up, with no break. So Venusia is the place, data, given at Venusia, that is the letter, was given at Venusia to the postman on the calends of Quintilibus. The first calends is the first of the month, the first. And Quintilibus is the month we now call July, named after Julius Caesar. Okay, so that's about it.